Autism Spectrum Superpowers. Hi, my name is Nathan and I have superpowers.
Superpowers?
Yeah. Okay, so my superpowers don't include superhuman strength or the ability to fly, although that would be pretty cool. My powers come from my autism spectrum abilities. The official term is Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD. But I just say autism. My spectrum means kids with autism have a range of abilities and challenges. For example, some kids on the spectrum are nonverbal, or they have a hard time using their words to express what they need to say.
Like what?
There are some people with a different kind of autism. They can't talk very easily.
How will you talk if you don't talk easily?
Well, that's a challenge that somebody else with autism might have. You use sign language, and maybe you use body language if you are nonverbal and don't have words or have fewer words. And maybe you use pictures to talk, or maybe you can read but you can't speak. So maybe you write out the things that you want to say to people.
No. Can you scratch my hair?
Yeah. See, that's one of your sensory things that you like. You like having your hair scratched. Other kids on the spectrum not only talk, but will sometimes use really big words, and that's the kind of autism you have. You like to talk, and you use really big words sometimes.
Like what?
Well, like when you're talking about the solar system, or like when you like to make up big words for numbers and things like that. All kids on the spectrum have some aspect of communication delay. So that's also like when you repeat words over and over. That's because of your autism. Or when you were asking about that, when Alex whispers words, that has to do with his communication, his autism. If you don't have autism superpowers, don't worry. It doesn't mean you're any less awesome, it just means we interact differently with the world around us. If you do have autism superpowers, you still might not have the same ones I have because of how we process information in our own ways.
Is autism the one that says words over?
Yeah, that's what makes your brain want to say words over and over again. We have trouble with sensory information. So your senses are like your five senses, right? So see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, even the way we move around. Our bodies can think the sensory information is too strong, and then we want to avoid it. The sensory information is too weak, and then we want to seek it out. So let me tell you all about my superpowers and how they affect my interaction with the world. Oh, what's going on there? Does this look like you?
Yes.
Yeah, you can relate to Nathan, huh? Do you think he likes fireworks?
No.
Do you like fireworks when they're over your head? No, you don't like it, huh? My first superpower is supersonic hearing. Noises seem much louder to me than they do to most people. Blaring music, fireworks booming, or people yelling. Those things drive me crazy. That's just like you. You don't like really loud noises, right? And you've been that way since you were a little baby. Even when you were in mommy's tummy, you were that way. Did you know that?
Was he crying when fireworks were loud?
Well, when you were in my tummy, Alex, we went to a very, very loud movie in the movie theater. And the loud noises were so loud to you, even inside mommy's tummy, that you were kicking all around and you seemed kind of upset in my tummy. And when we left the movie theater and it got quiet, then you got very still and you fell asleep inside my tummy because all the loud noises stopped.
But I did not cry yet.
Yeah, but you were still kind of feeling upset, we could tell, even when you were inside my tummy.
When you were in the movie theater, what was it about?
It was The Hobbit.
Was it about Platter?
Sorta. We'll read you The Hobbit someday.
There was a time when we went to a movie theater, and when we arrived I was very still, but then when we arrived I was all moving around because it was so loud, and I was all moving around because it was so loud, but then when we left it, the noise was gone, and then right after we left I was still again.
That's exactly right. Yep. Sometimes when my supersonic hearing takes over, I can't pay attention when I should. And other times, I curl up in a corner with my hands over my ears and try to block out the noise. You do that sometimes, huh? When you put your hands over your ears and try and hide from the loud noise. Here's helpful hints for sisters.
Yeah.
It says helpful hints for friends, but we're going to say for sisters. If your brother becomes overwhelmed by his supersonic hearing, he won't be able to figure out what to do. If you see him covering up his ears, you can help him find a quiet place where he can regroup.
Like I do, because I'm scared of some fireworks.
You don't like loud noises either, right? Yeah.
Like
You have very sensitive senses too, Sophie. That's one of your superpowers. If your brother is distracted by a background noise and can't seem to pay attention, try to help him figure out what it is and see if he can move to another room or make the noise stop. So that's what you can do to help Alex if noises are too loud, and it can help you too, right?
Yeah.
Another superpower I have is absolute select focus, or ASF for short. All this means is I can choose to focus every ounce of my energy, thought, and attention into one thing or activity, like you in the solar system. When you are focusing just on the solar system, it makes you really, really happy, right?
Yes.
That's called hyperfocus.
And when
Too much going on around me feels overwhelming, so I enjoy having just one thing at a time to concentrate on. So like the solar system is your special interest. That's what you're an expert in, right? And you're feeling overwhelmed and you go up to your planet section. That kind of helps you feel calm sometimes, right? And you get to focus on your special interest. Helpful hints for sisters. If you want to play with your brother, you might need to be part of what he is super focused on, which you do a really good job of. Like just before we made this video, you guys were going on a space adventure, right? You guys both got in your astronaut costumes and you were playing that you were in outer space. And you were joining in on his very special interest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one way that you have done a really good job of playing with Alex. If you don't feel like playing solar system, you can just play next to him until he feels like joining you.
Alex, I'm going to tell you something. Alex, I'll play next to you, but I won't play with you, Alex.
Yeah, and you hear that, and that's okay. If Sophie's not really feeling like playing solar system, she can just play what she wants to next to you. And then once you decide you're ready to join what Sophie is doing, then you can. So, we obviously didn't finish in the last video. So, we are just going to read the next few pages, and I think we're just going to break this down into a few different videos so we can have some discussion as we go. So, we talked about having supersonic hearing, right? And we talked about absolute select focus, which is your special interest, things that you can really focus on that you love, right? My next superpower is my ability to have complete confidence in my plan A. Mom says everyone is born with a toolbox, but instead of hammers and pliers, this kind of toolbox has things to help me deal with different situations. My toolbox was missing a couple items, like a plan B. This basically means when something happens, I have only one way to deal with it. This is kind of how you were feeling earlier, right? You didn't know how to deal with some of the big feelings you were having. If plan A doesn't work out, I have no idea what to do next. Nothing, nada, zilch. Sometimes when my plan A doesn't work out, I get so frustrated that I lose control and yell and run into a wall, or maybe you push or pull your sister's hair or throw things, you know, when you have a meltdown.
I don't like myself.
No, don't say, Alex, you don't say that. This is just helping you understand why that happens. This is just helping you understand, because that's kind of how you feel, right? Is you don't know how else to deal with it. Luckily, I have a mom who is very good at putting on her calm face and modeling plan B for me. Does that happen with us sometimes? When I have to show you maybe how to deal with those big feelings? Because you don't know necessarily how to deal with them? What your plan B is? Or if things don't go the way you want them to?
What about plan C?
Yeah, it's good to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, etc., etc.
Plan A, B, C, D, E?
That's maybe something that we can think about, is when things don't go the way you were thinking they were going to go, maybe we can talk about what plan B is, or plan C, huh?
Or plan D, or plan E.
Yeah, because sometimes things don't always go as you plan, right? She shows me how to deal with a situation step by step, over and over again, until I finally understand what to do next. Mom calls it putting tools in my toolbox. It turns out that it's really great to have those tools to know how to use them. Thanks, Mom. Or thanks, Dad. Or thanks, Grandma. Or thanks, Miss Bree and Miss Jen. Those are his therapists. They can teach you some of those tools too, huh?
They're his or mine?
Your therapist. But he probably has some therapists too. My superpower of intense enhanced eyesight. My eyes overreact and my whole system goes haywire. When this happens, my only hope is to cover my face and block out as much as I can. Do you think that's maybe why you like to push your face into people? I think you like to go like that. Is that why you do that, or does it just feel good on your head?
Just feel good on my head.
No. Yeah, sight doesn't seem to be as much of a problem either as sound is for you, huh? But touch is one of your sensitive and seems to be one of your sensory things. Do you like scratchy tags?
No.
No. You do like hugs and affection and massage and all sorts of things like that. You're a very affectionate boy.
Not
everybody with autism is the same in that way. He's very affectionate.
I want to hug.
See what I mean? He's just so affectionate. I love it. A masterful memory. I love reading and learning about my favorite subjects. I've memorized books and shows too, right? And I even know which pages contain which facts. That's true about your solar system books, isn't it? You've memorized a lot of your solar system books and you like to recite them or recite shows about them, right?
So I like sometimes starting things over and over and over again.
That's because of your autism, because your brain is wired that way. It makes you like to do things over and over again. But when you do that, it makes you really good at remembering things. Because you repeat them over and over, it helps you remember things really quickly and easily. Of course, that only applies to information that interests me. I enjoy facts. You like to learn about things, which is a really cool superpower. You learn really easily. We're just going to skip over some of those little details that don't apply as much to him. A superpower that can be frustrating is when my routine changes. So regular routine retention. You don't like it when your routine changes, do you? This means I love a routine. Eating the same thing for breakfast every morning. Is that true? You like to eat the same 2 things for breakfast and the same rotation of things for dinner, right?
Yeah.
And you don't like to eat other things. But have you noticed how kids like Sophie like to eat all sorts of things? It doesn't seem to bother them very much when they try new foods. It's because her brain is different than your brain. Your brain is wired and you like to have things be the same all the time, huh? I hate change. Change is my kryptonite. Change comes from the dark side. I need to know way ahead of time if things are going to be different. And even then, I don't like it. Yeah, you don't like it when things are different, do you?
Like what? Like what?
Especially with meals, if we do things differently than we normally do. Or there's been some times, like, for example, when we go to Grandma and Granddad's house and there's someone new there and you don't like that it's not the same people that are there every time, but then you warm up to them later. Or if we're gonna go to a new place.
I know what, Mommy?
What?
There's lots of times when I was scared of Jeannie and Sid at Grandma and Granddad's because
That's a good
then I
example.
warmed up and now I'm not shy of them anymore.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. But it took a little while, huh? The next superpower is my actual, factual, literal power. I literally take things literally, which means if you tell me a joke, I may not get the funny part. Although, you know what? This is actually something that you don't struggle with very much. You like making jokes and saying things that are kind of funny, right?
But what's something that he would struggle with of jokes?
For example, what does it mean when you say it's raining cats and dogs? Does it mean it's actually raining cats and dogs from the sky?
No.
No. What does it actually mean?
It's just a joke.
It's just a joke, right? So he's pretty good at picking up on jokes and wordplay and that kind of thing. So that's actually something you don't struggle with. You want to finish it? Or should we finish it tomorrow?
Should we finish it tomorrow?
Okay.
Your tears come out of, what does that come out?
It's called your tear ducts.
Well, where's the hole? The hole right here or right
You
there?
see the little black dot right there on the corner of my eyelid?
Right there, right here?
Right here. See that?
I don't see
Looks like a
it.
grain of sand. His mind is on other things right now, so sometimes it's hard to concentrate on things other than what he's thinking about. That little black dot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the tear duct. That's where your tears come from. You know what? I love you just the way you are. God made you perfectly just the way you are. And did you know that with autism it's kind of cool, because even though you struggle with something, because you struggle with that thing, you also have a superpower.